Home of the prodigal son, young Chad Townsend. And Chad Townsend plays on, plays to the whistle, kicks away for Valentine home. Townsend, brilliant.
Yo, what's going on? We are back. Welcome back to another episode of the Chad Townsend Show. If you're new here, please make sure you do subscribe. It is greatly appreciated. Drop us a like on the video on YouTube. Drop us a comment. Let us know what you think. Join the conversation. We really do appreciate all of your support here on YouTube. And if you're listening over on the audio platforms, please make sure you rate and review our podcast. You do really appreciate all of your support. As we're recording right now, Monday morning, the US Open Golf is actually on. We've got a close eye on our boy Adam Scott, who's won back off the lead at the moment and in contention on Sunday over there at Oakmont Country Club. So we're going to keep you guys probably updated with that score as it goes along. But yeah, for us, the podcast, we're back. We've got a massive show today. As always, we have a look about what's trending in the NRL. We look at our Origin preview for Wednesday night, what both teams need to do to get the win this weekend. We look at some of the biggest moments in the games, all the takeaways from only the 5 games this weekend. So a little bit of a shorter round, obviously Origin affected, which we will discuss about the Origin schedule and what we kind of think of that. We've got a big footy guy of the week where you guys can join the conversation. And then we've got some fan questions as well, which we will get into as always. So before we keep talking a bit of smack, let's just get straight into it, shall we? What's trending in the NRL?
What is trending?
Before I do move in, Victor, I did forget to bring him on. He is here.
How are we? We're here.
He is here. There he is. Look, have a look at him. Is that
How was your weekend?
Oh, mate, my weekend was great. How was yours?
Really good. I went to Spacey Jane last night. I don't think you know who that is.
I don't know who that is, but
for anyone listening, is
that like what generation?
It's like an indie band.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they're pretty popular.
So what like generation are you? Like, you know how they always talk about Gen Z and all that?
I think I'm Gen Z.
Yeah, so you're like the youth. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're like that next wave,
Wouldn't say that anymore. On the other side of 25, I don't know.
Soccer. Did you get the dub?
We drew. Our centre back got red carded in the first half, so we were down to 10 men, and we missed like 3 open goals.
That's right.
And we got a draw out of it, but it was alright.
Draw's pretty much a win in soccer, isn't it?
Well, when you're down to 10 men,
you guys celebrate draws. Like that's
we don't celebrate draws.
It's a putrid sport.
We don't celebrate draws. Fuck.
Oh no! Just cheat up.
No.
Having a bit of fun.
Want the win?
Yeah. All right. Mate, let's move in. Origin preview. What do we got first off the bank? Let's have a look at it.
Let's talk a bit about Tommy Dearden.
Yep.
What do you think he brings to the side now that he's starting, and like what we see this new attack from Queensland on Wednesday?
Yeah, look, this is it's a great question, and obviously it was a big change for Billy Slater to make from game 1 to game 2. Obviously dropping DCE, the captain. There's been a lot spoken publicly since that decision was made. Obviously throughout the week, you know, my good mate Aaron Woods had a nice big shot at Billy Slater, call him a bit of a grub, whatever he called him. But yeah, that obviously blew up because of, you know, their decision to not stay loyal to the captain. But, you know, I guess now that the kind of dust has settled on the selection, it's more about it's about Tom now. And, you know, for me, Queensland, I thought their attack was a little bit clunky in game 1. And I think Tom really changes the dynamic of their team and of their attack. You watch Tom week in, week out for the Cowboys, and his biggest strength is his running game. He averages over 100 metres running every single game in the NRL. The biggest thing for me, I think, and the biggest adjustment that Tom will need to make in this game is that Tom plays on the left side of the field for the Cowboys, and he has done for the last 4 seasons. So this Wednesday night, he will be playing on the right side of the field because Cameron Munster, you know, he's got that left side of the field locked down. He's a more veteran player. He's a veteran player. He's been there for a longer period of time. So I feel like that little adjustment for Tom, he'll be defending on the right side of the field. He'll probably be playing in attack all over the field because they don't usually like to lock in the Queensland halves on one side of the field. They kind of like to rotate around everywhere they go. But for Tom, defending on the right side of the field, that'll be a slight adjustment. And then probably how he kicks the ball. I think that might be a slight adjustment as well with regards to how many kicks he gets. He doesn't do that many kicks for the Cowboys. Munster can obviously, still kick his left foot kicker down the left side of the field. Obviously, that suits him. He's got quite a big boot. Tommy can kick the ball. Great kicker. Just probably doesn't kick as much because he focuses more probably on other areas of his game. But what do I see this game for Tom? Look, I think he will... I mean, he's got the most lethal dummy probably in the competition, to be honest. I think, when you see Tom and he's running at you at the line, like it's easy for a team to say to a team, hey boys, no shows on Tommy Dearden. Like he's coming into the line to throw a dummy and run. And it is so easy to say that. But then when you're actually out there, there's guys coming at you, like Tom's coming at you from here. There's a hard running back rower from here. And like you're under fatigue and Tom's got the ball in two hands. And because he has that threat of, he's got 16 line break assists so far this year. He's got 12 try assists. He's got that threat of a pass. Like he can throw short, long, he can throw over the top to set up other people. But then you're kind of worried about that pass because he's creating line breaks. And then all of a sudden the same exact motion is like a dummy, the sharpest dummy, and take off. So I think you'll see from Tom like a lot of dummies, a lot of show and goes, a lot of scheming around the ruck, and I think that really just adds a different dynamic to Queensland's attack. Like he plays definitely a different style to Daly Cherry Evans. Obviously, he's younger. He's always up there, with regards to the meters per minute and Ks covered per game because his work rate is so high because he just competes. And we see it every single weekend how hard he competes for the Cowboys. He's always in the picture, whether that's support play or chasing down some line breaks from the opposition. But I think for Tom, like keep an eye on his running game. That's definitely like his biggest strength. And, everyone knows like I'm a massive fan of Tom, right? I spent a lot of time with him over the past couple of years. And to me, like I think he owns this Queensland jersey for the next 10 years. Like I that's how highly I rate Tom. Like I think he's going to be a long-term Queensland halfback, and I think if he gets this period right over the next couple of years, like he'll go up there he'll be down there with one of the greats. I know I'm giving him a big rap here, but that's just how I feel about him. I've seen him. I see how hard he works. I've seen how he plays. He plays with passion and heart. That's why he's captain of a team at such a young age because he plays with experience or maturity like on the field above his years. So he's been doing an excellent job for the Cowboys. What I will say for Tom as well is like obviously this decision without taking Daly out has put more of a spotlight on Tom, but the whole thing is like it's not. If Queensland lose this weekend, like it's not all on Tom. You know what I mean? No. Like it's
still the team.
Yeah, of course. And Tom has already shown like he can do it at Origin level. He's done it the past couple of years. He done it for Australia last year in at the end of the season at the representative level. So look, there's no doubt Queensland need to improve their attack. I felt like in game one they had times and opportunities to get themselves back in the game that they didn't execute. And if they were good enough, they could have won the game. Like New South Wales left a lot of opportunities out there, I thought. And I feel like this Queensland team, just with the one change, makes them a whole lot more dangerous, I feel.
Yep.
I feel.
What are some key takeaways like from the stats of game one that you noticed that Queensland got to improve for this game?
Yeah, well, I think at the end of the day, New South Wales ran harder, they played the ball quicker, and they tackled better. They were more aggressive from the start.
Yeah.
That's where New South Wales got the jump. New South Wales had more ball. They had more tackle breaks. New South Wales had 49 tackle breaks to Queensland's 19. More than double. So that just shows you that New South Wales were running harder, breaking tackles. You know what I mean? That is like that's significant. That just shows like at times it's like Paul Gallen used to say boys, run hard, tackle hard. It's a simple game. and if you keep it simple, like a lot of the times, you come out on top. Like New South Wales ran for more metres. They had 1,753 metres in the first game to Queensland's 1,425. Like I said, the tackle breaks were crazy. The kick return metres were in favour of New South Wales because the Toto and Lomax were just dominant in that area for the New South Wales outside backs. They both ran for crazy metres. Defensively, Queensland made more tackles. They made a stack more tackles than New South Wales, 409 to 345. And the biggest one here was because of those tackle breaks for New South Wales. Like Queensland missed 50 tackles to New South Wales 19. So it just goes to show, like I said, it can be a simple game. It can go back down to if you peel it right back, like strip all the details. If you just tell someone to like run hard and tackle hard, like it can be a basic game, and that's what New South Wales did really well. And that comes down to, you hear a lot of the time like the attitude towards the game, and sometimes it's like it sounds easy to get, but it's like it is so hard. You have to rock up with the right attitude, the right intent to get in, do your work, and you could just see, I don't know, from moment one of that game, New South Wales looked like they were just all over them. So I feel like that's what they need to do for game two, for New South Wales. Like, what can they improve for game two? Well, I think it's pretty much just copy and paste. They made one change. Stefano comes in, Mitch Barnett goes out, and
King starts.
What's that? Sorry,
King starting.
Yeah, King starts. So I don't know. I think Stefano probably plays about 35 minutes. Like usually, what they do with the front rowers in game one was they kind of just split them. They kind of went 20, came off, and then they played the last 20, and the others played the middle 40 with half time. So it's kind of good when you got two big front rowers and you can kind of just sub them off. Obviously, it helps kind of when you're in control and in front of the game.
Yeah.
With your subs. Obviously, when you're losing your subs, you kind of go to kind of plan B to try and look for a little bit more, X factor, or bringing someone in with a bit more speed and whatnot. So,
what are your takes on Billy's changes to his side? I think he dropped out Horsburgh, who we were big on.
Yeah.
And I think Paddy Garrigan went to the bench, Trent Liero starting lock, and Cotter Catewell.
Yeah.
In the back rowers.
This has been another thing for Queensland that I feel has been a big talking point. I don't think Queensland line up like that on Wednesday night. The 17 that they've named, they won't be. They come 1 hour before kickoff, their team won't be 1 to 17.
You think Nanai comes on?
I think Nanai starts.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, but let's see how right I am on that, actually.
Red dropping out is crazy. Still.
Who's that, sorry?
Big Red getting dropped out, I think.
Nah, Horsburgh, man, I don't know what else Horsburgh needs to do to get in the
what
team.
is this guy going to do, man?
He's in a team that's just dominating other forward packs for fun on the weekends in the NRL. He's aggressive. He's got red hair. He's fired up, but he can't get a start. I'd have him in there. Mate, I would have him in there.
Yeah.
I bring him off the bench, bring him for a bit of fire, a bit of passion. Like, he's someone that can get under the nose or rattle New South Wales with just a big run or a bit of smack talk or a bit of fire.
And he's got great offloading, which could really unlock like Tom Dearden and stuff.
Great offloader. And do you think if Queensland are back ready to kick off and Spencer's on the back fence, do you think Horsburgh's saying kick to Spencer? Like he would want that.
He'd be up for that.
Yeah. That'll be interesting. I wonder if they kick to Spenny. Spenny's back there. It's almost like because there's so many eyes on that moment because it's going to happen.
Everyone's going to watch.
Spenny when Spenny's on the field, and he's going to obviously Spenny wants that smoke because that's just he's a beast. It'll be interesting to see. I'm actually text Val today. Val, are you guys going to kick off to Spenny? And see. I'll do it in the Players Golf Club group chat. See what he says.
That's good. That's good. What do you think it means for Jerome Luai coming in?
Yeah, look, I think Jerome Luai, obviously Mitch Moses, the news came out, he's out with a calf injury. Obviously, that's a pretty big loss for the Blues in terms of his quality. Obviously, Parramatta. I mean, Parramatta lose their best player and captain for 6 weeks, at Origin. And, I don't know how he did it or whatever. I just know that those camps, like the boys train so hard at those camps. Physically, like they're hard. They train really hard every single day. I don't know how he did it, but yeah, you got to feel for Mitch Moses. But for Jerome Luai, obviously been there before, delivered before. To me, he was a little bit unlucky to probably miss out. I had Mitch Moses in the team in front of him, but feel just as comfortable with Jerome Luai going in and doing his job. Obviously, when Laurie rang him, you saw the quotes, "Are you ready, mate? I'm ready to go." Yep. You know what I mean? Straight in. And you just feel that, like, he'd slot in like nothing. He's been there before. He knows all the plays. He knows all the players. He's played plenty of games with Nathan, with Isaiah Yeo, with all their big players. Obviously, Edwards at the back. So he knows their games. And obviously, will be interesting to see, because Luai, when he played with Nathan, would just sit on that left side of the field. When they played for Penrith, Luai ran the left. So kind of this corridor here, if you're watching on YouTube, was like Jerome Luai's corridor. The middle part of the field was like Cleary. And then over here on the right side was Dylan Edwards. So Dylan Edwards, you would barely see him for Penrith go from here to like over here. This would be like Luai's corridor, which not many teams kind of usually play like that. But yeah, I think for Luai, I think we'll see him come into his own once fatigue sort of sets in this game. And obviously his footwork, for him to go into like, you see him go into like a dead end and then come back out and then sort of skip across the field, and then he might find a pass or a bit of footwork or a kick. So yeah, I feel like he's ready to go. And I don't think we lose too much.
No, I think a lot of people were upset that Matt Burton didn't get the call up, but I think people forget how good Luai is because of, he's at the Tigers, probably not playing at the best club at the moment, but he did the job last year.
Yep.
And I think Burton's value at 18 is way more than anyone else's.
Yeah, and that's the reason I think that why they came out and said that, because of Burton's utility value is 18.
Yeah.
And in such a brutal game, we see how many HIAs we kind of get. It's almost like that guy kind of needs, like, he's almost ready, needs to be ready to go. I mean, obviously he's preparing to play, but obviously the Dogs were, because it happened to him last year as well, with Burton being 18th man and not being able to play for them on the weekend, obviously, which hurt them. But then if he doesn't get on, it's like, we lose one of our best players to just sit on the bench. So I get that. And that sort of, I guess, brings us into the next point about Origin and, the scheduling for potential standalone weekends.
What do you reckon?
Look, I think it's going to change. I think we need to move into a direction where, I said on last week's podcast about, like Val Holmes played Origin 1 on Wednesday. Then he played for the Dragons on Friday night against the Knights at Cogra. Like, just in 2025, crazy, man. Like, the demands of the current game are insane. And like the speed at which the game's played, the intensity, to do it one day and then to do it the next day. And that's obviously the same night that the Knights rested Kalen Ponga from playing. Adam O'Brien made that decision for him to not play. So, look, I think it needs to change. I would like, we obviously the games from the weekend were all Origin affected. All the players who weren't available. I mean, the Cowboys lose 4 or 5 of their best players and got absolutely pumped. What?
There's not much they can't do anything about it.
I think it needs to change. What's the solution? I'm not 100% sure yet, but I do feel like we need some form of standalone weekend, whether it's midweek, whether it's weekends, whether we have a break, whether we do some international footy as well. There needs to be something changed. And I would actually be really interested to hear what you guys, the fans, have to say on this matter. You know what I mean? If you're a Cowboys fan, for example, you're buying tickets to a game to go and watch the Dolphins game versus Cowboys in Townsville, and Ruben's not playing, Tom's not playing, Reece Robertson's not playing, Jeremiah Nanai's not playing, Hamaso Tabuai-Fido's not playing, and you're going to the game, like, are you satisfied? Or do you want to go and see and watch those players? You know?
Yep.
So it remains to be seen. I'll have a think about that, and I will actually get my proper take on the scheduling and what I think should happen. I'll get back to you guys anyway.
What's your score predictions for Wednesday?
Wednesday, well, game 2 in Perth. I am going to go New South Wales 24, Queensland 20. 24-20
24-20
to New South Wales.
Wow.
What about you, Victor? Tell us yours.
I'm going 38-4 New South Wales.
38-4.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
It's
Jeez.
alright. We don't lose in Perth.
We don't lose in Perth. We've got
No,
a record in Perth.
We got a record.
We
in
played a
Perth.
couple of games in there.
And
Mate, what do we got next on what's trending? Let's have a...
James Schiller.
Yeah.
He had a couple of death threats after the Manly game
Yeah.
last week, I think. What is your take on this and like online trolls as a whole?
Yeah. So
Being a player.
Yeah. So James Schiller, Knights winger, copped a fair bit of online abuse last week after the game. And I'm pretty sure the guy here, he said, I've got the quote here, sorry. He said, I will effing end your life. Count your days. And this guy has, he said, sorry, another message also said that the user writing that they hoped that Schiller would choke and die.
That's crazy.
Man. Like, come on, bro. Like, it's just a freaking game. It's just a footy game. Like, it's a football game. You know, this kind of fires me up a little bit. Like, obviously, you know, playing in the game for the last 15 seasons, like, all of us, doesn't matter if you're the best player, you're number 30 on the roster, or you're the Australian halfback. Like, no one spared this type of online abuse. Like, every single player gets it. Like, it's just, unfortunately, it's the sad reality of professional sport. If you're a sports person who plays in professional sport, whether you play in the NRL, whether you play in the A-League or you play in the NBL or whatever you play, like, you just cop online abuse. And, like, I feel like as you get older and more mature, you learn to deal with it. Like, I actually am at a space in my life as I've gotten older, as I've played, like, where I actually don't give a stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I live a great life. I love my life. I'm very happy with my life. But this person here who sent this stuff to James Schiller has now been charged by police. So it just goes to show, like, if you want to go and entertain, do this stuff, like, there are now consequences for you. And this guy's probably behind a fake account or a burner account. And there's so many of those accounts, obviously, and a lot of them are ran by grown men, which is just absolutely disgusting. So yeah, we're calling it out. It's not okay to do that. Like, at the end of the day, like, it's just a game. You know what I mean? Like, your multi or your super coach is, like, who gives a shit? You know what I mean? Like, it just pisses me off, you know what I mean? Because I know there's younger kids out there in the game, athletes in the NRL who it does affect them. You know what I mean? They haven't played well, or they're still trying to find their feet in the NRL, and you've got online abuse of people who's saying that they're shit or whatever, like, or sending them death threats. Like, it's not okay. So I'm glad that these guys are getting called out, and, you know, hopefully there's more of it. And if you're hiding behind a fake account, like, are you actually happy with your life? If you're going online behind a fake account and writing stuff about other people, do you like your life, or do you hate your life, and do you hate yourself? Because I bet you I know the answer. Because, I don't know, people who enjoy their lives or are successful, like, someone who's more successful than you are, like, isn't online writing stuff
about other people.
You know what I mean? Like, if there's someone who, let me just think of someone who's like, yeah, maybe like a highly respected, I don't know, CEO or businessman who earns multi-million dollars per year, like, I don't know, is he going on the line writing stuff? No, it's not. It's not those types of people. Like, it's just absolute scum. So yeah, man, the person who's gone online and had a go at James Schiller, like, sucked in, man. Hope you get charged with whatever. Like, hope you get a criminal record. Like, it's absolutely disgusting. So, we're calling out, but let's move on.
Moving on.
Let's move on, mate. Your
Round
Sharkies,
15. The boys on
round
Thursday.
15, first game Thursday night.
I was there that night.
How was it? I feel
It
like,
was fun.
you know, your little social gatherings now that are happening at NRL games. It's every NRL game now. I feel like the crew's getting younger.
Yeah,
People
it
are going
is.
there before they're going out now, aren't they?
Yeah, it's like pre's.
That's
but not for
crazy,
a
man.
Thursday, but
Yeah.
I was sober, but yeah, no, it was a mad atmosphere. All 8,000 people at the game.
8,000 for a Sharks versus Dragons game.
Yeah, no, it's not that good.
Is that because it was a Thursday night or?
I reckon it was because it was Thursday. It's a bit disappointing, eh?
Man, that sucks.
They need to fix that clubhouse, man.
Yeah, the Leagues Club's.
The Leeds Club, sorry.
What's
clubhouse.
actually doing there?
What is doing?
Why is it still so delayed?
It's money.
Man, it's been going on for 5 years.
It's fucked.
5 or 6 years.
It's not okay. Yeah, I don't know what the go is there. I know the building company that they were using went under over COVID, and obviously with like inflation and everything, cost of resources must be going up. I don't freaking know.
Jeez, man.
But it's not on. For a club that's like wants to compete top four, they need a Leeds club.
It's crazy, man. I can't actually believe that, to be honest.
You were still at Sharks while
Yeah, man. Like ages ago.
the developments was happening, hey?
Yeah. Like they said it was going to be done by like... I remember I played the last game there in 2019 before it got shut down.
Yeah.
2019, that was 6 years ago. It's still not done. Like I know they're back playing games now, but the Leagues Club's been closed for 6 years.
Yeah.
Closed for 6 years.
It's craziness.
Anyway, enough of that talk. Let's move into the game. Sharks 30, Dragons 18, the local derby. Obviously, both teams coming off a massive or big losses the week before. Sharks came out. I thought they dominated the first 20 minutes. And Blake Brayley, well, wasn't he on fire? He was running riot from dummy half in that first half. It was great to see him. To me, he should be going out and buying his forward pack some lunch because without those quick play balls, he wouldn't have been able to run like he did. He ended up running for 122 metres. I thought he was great. I thought he had a really, really nice game. The Dragons would then fight back through a Damien Cook try, kind of out of nowhere, to be honest. And then, kind of at halftime, the game was in the balance. And I was thinking the Sharks dominated possession in the first 20 minutes of the game. Then the Dragons got their fair share. They scored a couple of tries. This game looked like it was going to be, a really nice quality second half. It'd been set up really, really well. The second half, though, the Sharks just kicked away. They kicked away through possession and field position. They ended up with 56% possession for the game. The Dragons, I'm not even sure if they had a play the ball inside the Sharks 20-metre line in the second half. They got caught on last play a couple times. Tyrell Sloan had 4 errors. He probably had a bit of an off night. And that, kind of moves us on to a bit of a trending topic at the moment. Like Kyle Flanagan's copying a lot of criticism at the moment for the Dragons. Questions being asked about his position in the side. Gordon Tallis had a bit of a comment yesterday. He said, what's going to happen? It's either going to be his job or Kyle's. So I guess this kind of just, obviously when you're losing, like this is kind of what happens. Everyone comes under fire. And obviously when you're the halfback, like you get all the credit when you win, but you get all the blame when you lose. You know what I mean? So they're obviously copping a lot of criticism at the moment. They're 12th on the ladder at the moment. And for Flano, for Shane, it's a tough position. You know what I mean? When you're coaching your son, and it's a very unique position, obviously at the professional level. And they obviously already dropped Lachlan Ilias as well, who you've been really high on. You're a big fan of his.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Lockie. He's been playing really well in Cup as well.
Him and Jonah Glover, the young half there, they've been excellent
Yeah.
in New South Wales Cup. And, you know, that there are people out there calling for one of those two to come into the team in place of Flano. But man, it's a tough call for Big Flano. You know what I mean? So obviously we'll see how this kind of plays out. But that New South Wales Cup team for the Dragons is going really well at the moment. And since Ilias has been down there, I'm pretty sure they've won the last 6 in a row.
There you go.
So
it's a tough spot.
It's a tough spot, yeah, for the coach. Coaching your son But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
What else do you reckon from the Dragons? What else do you?
Yeah,
do you
well, I mean, Torres Sloan, he wasn't great on the weekend. 4 errors. Yeah. I thought some of his errors were he didn't want to bar the high ball. Like, your job is to catch the ball, go up. Like, if you're going to stand back and just sort of let the ball go and you half-ass the effort and you knock it on, like, I can't cop that. If you just go up, you attack the ball and you go up and you leap up and you go for a jump and then you might drop it, but you attack the ball, like, man, I can live with that. You know what I mean? But don't not attack the ball. Like, attack the ball. So that kind of like ticked me off when I was watching the game. I was like, man, just come on, just attack the ball. Like, go at the ball. You know, errors are a part of the game, but like, I don't know, I just feel like he didn't really attack the ball as much as he should have. Yeah, for the Dragons, like, I know that in that 20 minutes I saw, from like the 20-minute mark to the 40-minute mark,
where they just dominated.
They dominated. Yeah. And I was really impressed with the Dragon. I was like, I really enjoyed watching them in that period of time. But the difference between that 20 and then, I guess, the first 20 or the last 40 was like miles apart. Like, they're not as consistent as they need to be if they were a top team. And I feel like they're developing. Like, they've got some good quality young forwards. Got some really, the Couchman boys. I know one of them's out, but the other one, he's a gun.
Yeah, he's killing it.
Young Hamish, I really like the look of him. You know, they've got a young team, and I feel like they are developing, they are growing, but it's like they need to win now. You know what I mean? Like, you can still develop and kind of win now. Being in 12th position at the moment, obviously, you know, you're in the bottom half of the ladder, like. And when you start to lose, like, questions just get asked of everything. You know what I mean? Training gets harder. The coach is under pressure. The coaches aren't happy when you're losing. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not a fun place to be in an NRL team when you're losing. So, yeah, keep an eye on. I know the Dragons have the bye this weekend. So, you know, no quick decisions need to be made. And I think, you know, the last thing I'll say with, I guess, the Flano situation is, like, the Dragons will know inside their 4 walls, like, what they're doing. You know what I mean? They'll know if there's someone banging down the door who should be playing and will be selected, or they're going to go with the current team or whatever. Like, their players and their staff and everyone, like, especially their staff, I feel like they'll know the situation of what they're thinking and what they're going to do, you know, moving forward. So, yeah. Anything to add there before we move on?
No. Oh, one more thing. What do you think about the Sharks? Because they're not playing their best either. What do you see from that side that should be improved and can improve? Because they have the squad for it.
They do. Opinion, but hey, the Sharks have one of the most settled teams. I'm glad you actually brought that question up about the Sharks, because first and foremost, geez, wasn't Sione Katoa just awesome on the weekend?
Beast.
The Tongan Fisherman, he's back.
The Tongan Fisherman.
Check out his Instagram, at Tongan Fisherman.
YouTube, I think,
as well. Man, like, that try he scored off the scrum, just boom, 1-on-1. Like, you can't leave Sione 1-on-1. Like, he'll beat you. His footwork's too good. But for Cronulla, I feel like in terms of, like, their team, they've got one of the most settled teams in the competition. Like, you can just tell. I could run through their whole starting lineup, like, every week. Pretty much they've had the luxury of being able to name the same team every week. Like, I know they've had a couple injuries here and there, but for Cronulla, I think they can only beat themselves. I feel like they're a really well-ran team, but sometimes, like the other week against the Roosters, I just feel like they just didn't turn up. Against the Warriors, like, they just didn't turn up with the right attitude to work hard, you know, to dig in. Where on the weekend, like, you can tell they were kind of up for it from the first minute. You know what I mean? Obviously, their forward pack is very big, very mobile. Aden is the key to their middles. And then obviously, Braden Trindle and Nico. If they play well, the Sharks win.
Play well. Yep.
You know what I mean? And if the Sharks lose, like Nico cops all the criticism. You know what I mean? That's just what happens. When you're getting paid $1 million, like you're the main man.
Yeah.
If you deliver, you get all the praise, you get all the pat on the back, and if you don't, you get all the criticism. That's just how the game works. Do I feel like, man, they're a good team.
They're a good team.
They're well coached. You know what I mean? They're very tight. They're a tight knit playing group. I know I haven't been there for a long time, but I still know most of them relatively well. But just when they're playing well, they are on.
Yeah. I just feel like they need to take it one step extra, like that extra gear. We just need to see that game where they show a little bit of an extra gear.
Yep.
And we're like, okay.
Agree. Yeah, because that game against the Warriors was pretty poor.
You just can't do that. Yeah.
No, they let a lot of soft tries in. So
Anyway,
move on. Next game, Titans 28, Manly 8. Wow. Oof. Who saw this coming? Des, the bounce back factor. We were pretty critical of the Titans last week, weren't we?
Yeah, I think he threw a bit of blame on his players, didn't he, last week, Des?
That's right. He blamed the players in the press conference. He said the only people who turn around the game or the season are the players. Maybe. I was a little bit critical of that because I was like, mate, come on, take a bit of accountability, but the players, they turn around, didn't they? They actually play well on the weekend. So Des, well done to him. Obviously playing one of his old teams, Manly. And for Manly, I mean, this is a side who had Olakawato, Turbo, and DCE playing during the Origin period. Like, no one would have thought that would have happened probably, after the Titans got flogged last week against the Broncos. A great bounce back for them. Obviously play without Tino on the weekend. Tino was probably in Origin camp, cheering. Good on to him. He didn't have to play, and they played and got a good win without their best player. The Titans, well, this is where they won the game. The Titans, a lot of the time, will beat you like 28-26. They completed 39 of 43 sets, and 90%. Like I dare say that's probably the highest completion rate they've had all season. That's huge for them. That is a model they need to follow week in, week out. And I feel like that's something that Kieran Foran would be pushing in the background. Boys, we need to hold the ball complete. So well done to them on that. They only made 5 errors for the game, which is very un-Titan-like. A lot of the time they just make silly, poor, ill-disciplined errors and give the opposition field position. But that just wasn't the case. They executed their attacking game plan to perfection. Khan Pereira, 2 tries, and he now has 51 tries from 52 NRL games. Like, that is absolutely crazy, man. Like, well done to him. That is awesome, man. And who knows where he finishes up when, that's all done. He's only obviously still quite young, Well done to him. That's absolutely crazy. I thought Jaden Campbell was great. AJ Brimson was at the back. He ran for 261 metres. He was nice. The Titans bench, well, they didn't really have to do too much because I thought the starting forwards done their job. I mean, Regan Campbell-Gillard, Beaufort Moore was good after not being selected in that Origin 2 team for Queensland. Chris Randall scored a nice try to seal it at the end. And for Manly, well, they just did not have their attitude right in defence. And it was their missed tackles that really did the damage for the Seagulls. Lachlan Croker had 7 missed tackles. Tokiaho had 6. Ben Travojevic had 8. Jake had 5. So their tackling was poor. The missed tackles really let them down. And that's probably hence the reason why the Titans had all the line breaks that they did. And Manly were just... they missed it all.
So went off with a dislocated shoulder as well.
Yeah, what's the update there? Dislocated shoulder for
There's
Hamole.
no update on scans yet, but NRL Fizz.
NRL Fizz.
NRL Fizz.
Right.
Fizz. 3 to 6 weeks at least.
Yeah.
But it could get up to like 3 months.
Yeah, so it just depends how the shoulder came out.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Whether it came out the back or whether it came out the front, I'm pretty sure. I'm no shoulder expert, but...
it's a massive loss to Manly.
It's a massive loss for Manly. Olakau'atu's, in my opinion, he's top 3 back rows in the competition. Like, I know he's not playing Origin at the moment, but far out. Far out, he's a good player. They will miss him. He's a massive part of their attack with Cherry Evans on that right edge.
What do you think for the Titans now? Because AJ's gone back to fullback, who is killing it. I think that's his position. I know there was a lot of talk about him and Campbell in the halves, but I think AJ is fullback.
Yeah, well, I think at the moment, without Keanu Kinney, this is the team. Obviously, I think that
true. I keep forgetting about
Kinney.
Keanu
Kinney.
Do
not forget my guy,
well.
Keanu Kinney. Do not forget my guy.
God damn.
Look, I think that Kinney to me is their fullback.
Yeah,
he's back healthy.
I totally forgot about Kenny.
Yeah, if Kinney's back, he's fullback. But at the moment, I like Brimson at back. I like Foreign, just steady the ship, help out, guide the team around, let Campbell and Brimson be the flashy guys. So I like the mix at the moment. But I like Kinney, man.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the timeline of his return. Hopefully it's this season because I know
think it's because it was his neck, wasn't it?
Neck
it was his
injury,
neck.
yeah.
It was a crazy one, actually.
Yeah, which had to have a pretty interesting surgery for, I'm sure. So,
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, for them, I like their lineup on the weekend. Without Kinney, obviously. So yeah, I mean, and just lastly before we move on, like Turbo, he ran for 255 meters. Cooler ran for 250 meters from the centers as well. So, but Manly just missing the mark with their defense on the weekend.
Yep.
Let's move on to Roosters versus Roosters 12, Knights 8. Siua Wong TRY every day of the week. Every day of the week. Forearm, try, downward pressure. That, ladies and gentlemen, that is a try every day of the week. Knights fans, well, let's see you in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Was it a try? Was it no try? Downward pressure. Have a look. Doesn't touch his fingers. Just touches his forearm. Gets put down. Downward pressure. Try. 3 letters. 4 points. Try. Let us know what you think in the comments. Was it a try or was it a no try? But, yeah, I think we all sleep at night knowing that it was a try. NRL, well done. The Roosters against all the odds this game. Look, speaking to the boys after the game, like it was one of those games where I feel like they really couldn't get much going. There wasn't much happening. There wasn't much opportunity. Roosters had 46% possession, which so they're obviously on the wrong side of the ledger. But, they made more tackles, but then come away with the win. So how do you do that? You get your defense right. And that was something Robbo spoke about after the game to the boys was like, when you can't find much in attack, just get your defense right. And they did that really well. Obviously, the Knights started, quite hot, scoring early in the game. And for the majority of the game, this game was played in relatively good conditions. It did start raining at the back end of the game very lightly. But and it was a little bit windy. So the conditions played a minor part probably in the back end of the game. But, look, it was an arm wrestle. Low-scoring game. Obviously, 12-8. You don't really see too many scorelines 12-8. And it was a back-and-forth game until Teddy just broke it open from nothing. Just sort of scheming across the field, show with some support. Gets through the line, post-line offload to Celesi for Keddy. And, wow, Celesi, he had the 10 on the back, goes through, then boom, puts the fullback on skates and just absolutely dominates and scores an insane try. Keep an eye out for Celesi because he is an absolute beast. He's an absolute gun. He's only still very young as well. And for the Roosters, well, it was so much has kind of been said about the boys in their last 20 minutes in games, obviously conceding tries and then losing. That's kind of been the theme so far of the season for the Roosters with the last 20 minutes. But this last 20 minutes, the championship rounds, well, geez, they just dominated, scoring 2 tries in the back end of the game. And it just made it so much sweeter to be able to win a game, in the championship rounds, to score 2 tries in the last 20 minutes and then to come over the top and then win on the back of like your defense and just hanging in there, hanging tough. So that was great to see. I was really happy for the boys. Dom Young. This is a wild situation.
It's crazy.
Crazy situation.
It's got to be so unique.
Plays for the Roosters, and then at midnight that night, then gets the transfer to the Knights. But obviously you've got to play against the Knights before you join them. So he packed up his house in Sydney, drove up to Newcastle, went into the hotel, stayed with the Roosters, and then played for the Roosters. And then the next day, he's going to bloody Knights recovery session. Absolutely insane. Look, I wish Dommy lad all the best for his future at the Knights. Like great dude, Dommy. Very quiet. Great footy player, and it's been awesome to sort of get to know him and wish him well at the Knights. But yeah, very unique situation, something you don't really happen very often, because it's like when Dommy's playing, it's like, who does he want to win this game? Like he's playing for the Roosters, but then, obviously he's moving to the Knights. He's like, he said to me after the game, he's like, bro, it's just a weird situation. Like I'd be lying if it was, easy. It would have been very, very hard. So,
to play, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Good luck to him in the future. Toops, 216 metres for Toops. Teddy, 253 metres. We spoke about that line break assist for Celeste before. Now, Billy Smith, 140 metres for the Roosters. Now getting some consistent footy under his belt. Really happy for him. He was great defensively for the Roosters. Fletcher Hunt for the Knights got moved to a fullback in place of Fletcher Sharp. I thought he was really solid. I really liked this kid, Fletcher Hunt. He's an absolute gun. Yeah, I really
competes on everything.
On everything. At the back end of the game, I'm watching the game and I'm thinking, if the Knights are looking to score, like just put it up in the air and let Fletcher Hunt go and try and attack it. Jackson Hastings back into the NRL. I thought he played his part. Jackson Hastings, his first game for a long time in the NRL. So, I know they didn't get the win and the conditions were hard. There wasn't much happening in attack, but I thought he did his job, I thought. So, well done to him. Well done to the Roosters. Well done to Siua Wong for the downward pressure. Try. And we'll move on. Next game. Cowboys. Dolphins 58, Cowboys 4. Cowboys playing without Ruben Cotter, Tom Dearden, Jeremiah Nanai, Reece Robson, all out for the Cowboys. And this was always going to be hard. Like, the Dolphins have had a few injuries, but Hammer was the only one out for them with Origin. Bostock scored 4 tries, ran for 313 metres. Dolphins had 56% of the ball. Cowboys missed 40 tackles. And, when you're missing your best players and you're playing against a team that is just absolutely clicking at the moment, scoring tries at will, their spine are giving them more opportunities to score than any other team. And if you're making more tackles than them and then their best players aren't playing, and then your team has a new combination in the spine, in the halves and at hooker. Like it's hard to be critical of the Cows, obviously, with the way this goes sort of game plan. I know 58 is a lot of points, and it's just the team. Like they won't put a team like that out again, with regards to their change. This is an Origin. You know what I mean? This is just what happens at Origin, which we spoke about earlier about the Origin affected game. So to me, it's just one of those games where you just have to cop it and move on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's I don't know what the coach would have said at full time, but obviously, just cop it and move on. Like obviously losing Jace in the warm up didn't help as well. He injured his calf again. So, when he comes back, I'm not too sure. I guess a bright spot for the Cows was Caden Lars made his NRL debut. Young Larsy, the son of former NRL player Tom Leroy Lars, and I think Jordan McLean, I saw during the week, he played with Tom Leroy Lars, Caden's dad, at the start of his career, and then at the back end of his career, he's playing with his son, Caden Lars. So, excuse me, that's a pretty cool moment.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Let's move on. The Cows play the Roosters next weekend, actually. So
before we move on, it goes back to the point of like some teams getting really affected by this Origin period, and like if it's starting to decide like positions on the ladder, there's definitely.
Mate, there's some teams that have no players. Some teams have 1. Some teams have 4 and 5. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's a new sort of era of footy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's something needs to be changed with Origin. You know, it's not the same as what it used to be. So I love keeping the history of the game, but I just feel like it's, you know, we need to bring the game into the new era in that part. So, and the Cowboys are always going to be a team that were affected by Origin because of they're a North Queensland team, you know, so.
Yep, for sure.
Let's move on. Last game of the round. Bulldogs 24, Rabbitohs 18. An interrupted game by lightning. This one, I'm watching the game. I don't think I've seen anything like this for a long time. Lightning over a core stadium. The game gets delayed with 8 minutes to go before half time. The NRL game officials walk out and just drag both teams off the field with a weather warning from the NRL and the stadium, obviously with lightning lingering. So, that was a bit of a distraction. But for the Dogs, well, they started really well in this game. 3 tries in the first 18 minutes, and it's 18-0. And I'm thinking to myself, geez, it could be a long night for South here. But full credit to South Sydney. Gosh, they just dug in and they fought back, and they had a go. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that, you know, you can usually expect from Wayne Bennett coach teams is they just hang in there. You know what I mean? They hang in there, they complete, and they got themselves back into the game to give themselves a chance. Like, I know they didn't win, but they can take a lot out of this game, I thought, South. So they'll walk away with their heads high with the fight they showed because they got themselves back into the game. So it was a bit of a slippery game, this one, obviously with the rain around. And a core stadium it's very slippery in the middle of winter when there's a bit of rain around. And I thought Toby Sexton was great in this game. I thought he really controlled the ball well. I thought he can combine with Galvin, obviously the first time those two starting in the halves together. Will be interesting to see, you know, as we've spoken about before, what happens there when Matt Burton comes back. Marcelo Montoya scored a double. Connor Tracy ran for 268 metres. He's been excellent for the Dogs. Massive Connor Tracy guy. He's been really, really good. I've really, really enjoyed his work so far. But for the Bulldogs, like, it just looked like to me like, I know we spoke about South fighting back, but the Bulldogs were in control. Like, the Bulldogs complete so high all the time, and they just get to their kick, and they play almost like I wouldn't say boring, because they do score some really great tries, but sometimes boring football is good football. Like, it's okay that you don't need to score on every play. And what they're doing at the moment, which is probably a Penrith thing, which is what most teams are doing actually now, it's become a lot more common and more trending in the game, is a lot more teams are going out to their back rowers and dropping them back under, especially with the Dogs. Like, if they come out to the left side of the field where Kikau plays on the left, if they come out, they like turning back under, come back towards the ruck. And they do that a lot. Like, it's a very simple play.
What does that do?
Good question.
Yeah. What does that do, I guess?
It's a good question. So what it does is, instead of giving Kikau the ball early and get his outside guys to make tackles, he then comes back towards the middle of the ruck where, you know, the middle forwards are. So it gets the middle forwards to make more tackles. And then hence puts more fatigue into those middle forwards. So he could come straight back in to the middle of the field, or he could skip across to the other side. But a lot of the time it's to put fatigue into the opposition middle forwards. But also it's a low-risk play, and it helps you get through your sets. It's controlled. You know what I mean? It's not like he's going into the line and playing a nice short pass in the wet, you know, where there's defense onto him and he's got to catch a ball in the line into the defense. Like, it's a safe play.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of the time when he's coming back in the angle, or anyone is, if they can find a quick play the ball and then play off the back of it on the next one. So that's something the Dogs have been doing a lot more of, you know, and credit to Penrith. Like, they started doing it, you know, a couple of years ago. They did it with Tago. You know, they'd always come out to the right, and Tago would come back under, and then he would kind of play the ball like here, and then Penrith would like shift back the other way. So, yeah, I mean, the Dogs still leading the comp.
Still winning.
Still doing great. And, yeah, good on them.
Yeah,
Let's move on to our big footy guy of the week. 3 nominations before we finish up our big footy guy of the week. Our first nomination, Jaden Campbell, 1 try, 1 try assist, 1 offload, 5 tackle breaks, and 1 line break assist. Jaden Campbell was on for the Gold Coast Titans, and he needs to be on if they're going to continue to win games. Jack Bostock, 4 tries, 1 try assist, 5 tackle breaks, 22 runs for 313 metres. You see him counting as he's scoring the last try, runs around, counts up the numbers, 4 tries. Good on him.
Should have been 5.
Should have been 5. Should have been 5. Wouldn't that have been insane? Yeah, he's been scoring them at will. Jack Bostock, and the Dolphins spine deserve a lot of credit for that. Connor Tracy, 1 try, 5 tackle breaks, 2 offloads, 26 runs for 268 metres. Well, I just feel like that is a standard Connor Tracy game now.
That's a Connor Tracy stat line.
That's a Connor Tracy stat line. I could honestly say that every week, and you just be like, you wouldn't even be surprised. Just be like, that's Connor Tracy. You know what I mean? That's just what he's got.
He does.
Mate, we got any fan questions? We do.
Got some off the TikTok.
Let's go. Finish fan
and
questions.
One off the YouTube.
All right, let's go, and then we'll wrap it up.
Who would be in contention for your rookie of the year so far?
Ooh, man. Yeah. Good question. At the moment, I really like what Owen Paddy's done for the Raiders. I'm not sure how many games he played last year, but I feel like I'm pretty sure. I think it might be 3 games. If you played less than 3 games the year before, you're in contention year still for Daly M Rookie of the Year. Otherwise, and it might be the same with Leka Halasima, the Warriors back row. I really like the look of him. I think Halasima's been an absolute beast. So the 2 that immediately popped to my mind were those 2.
Paddy hasn't played in an NRL game since this year.
So Owen Paddy made his debut this season. Yeah, so I really, really like the look of Owen Paddy. I wasn't sure if he made his debut last year.
His kicking game is...
mate, I feel like he's got it all. Short passing, kicking game, long kicking game, short kicking game. Like, he's a beast. I really, really like the look of him. So, they're two standouts at the moment for me.
Wade... I don't even know how to say that. Wade has asked, who is the funniest NRL player you have played with?
That's a great question. Funniest players I've ever played with. All right. Victor Radley is up there. He's hilarious. I love Victor Rads. Who else is up there? Kurt Capewell. Capes is funny. I have to say Drinky. Drinky's hilarious. Who else? Probably those 3 that come to mind off the top of my head. The thing I love about, being a part of a team is like there's so many different personalities, there's so many like different like there's people from all different walks of life, just all come in from different backgrounds, and everyone's just so different. That's the thing I love the most. It's hilarious. Yeah. So good.
They're all from different cultures and everything.
Everyone different cultures, different backgrounds, different upbringings, obviously all trying to combine for the one common goal. But it's like, I don't know. It's just like what I do and how I act, is so different to someone else. You know what I mean? But we're just in the same team.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. It's
pretty cool.
It's really cool. Yeah.
Another one. Liam asks, why do you think the Broncos have fallen off?
Why do I think the Broncos have fallen off? Look, I think, I know they had a win last week, but I think the thing with the Broncos is there's so much pressure and expectation in Brisbane. Obviously, there's a lot of external noise. It's how you handle that is massive, both as a team, as a coach, and then as an individual. That's a massive factor in how the Broncos play. But then also, like, the thing with Brisbane is I feel like they can fall in love with themselves quite easily. If they win really well, it's quite common for them to lose the next week because, like, they kind of drop the shoulders. They've played really well. Such and such scored a couple of tries. I had this amount of try assists, you know what I mean? But I don't feel like they have the consistency in their hard work yet. I feel like they don't have the team that is just, like, mature enough or work hard across the board. I feel like, don't get me wrong, they're a freaking very talented, good team when they want to be, but they don't have that hard edge yet that maybe someone like the Storm have had for a long period of time.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
Yep, for sure.
Yep.
What do you think about the Sonny Bill and the Port Gallen fight?
Yeah.
Any predictions?
Well, this fight should have probably happened 5-10 years ago, to be honest. But I'm glad it's happening. Look, I'm Team Gallen. I am in the G-Train's corner. And one thing I know about Gal is, like, he's the most competitive guy I've ever come across. You know, he loves winning. He hates losing. And I know how hard he trains. Obviously, you look at Sonny Bill, you just can see the specimen that he is as well. Look, Sonny's last fight didn't look great for him. I know both guys are getting a little bit old. I still think it'll be a good fight. And obviously, you know, I think Sonny's kind of fought to get it on his terms. But we are going to go and speak to Gal and interview Gal as well and watch some of his fights next week. His training, next week. So keep an eye out for that on the YouTube channel as well. That'll be good to see.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's it.
Sweet. All right. Thanks, Victor. Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into today's episode. If you enjoy the podcast, please make sure you do subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. But just if you like the video, that really does help us. So we really do appreciate it. Like and drop us a comment. It is massive for us here on the YouTube and wherever you're watching, listening, whatever it may be. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Let's go.